Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Aurora 4X C Sharp. So last time we began our second campaign, the GL Virginia system, and we ran into a bit of a problem. Pretty sure it's a problem with the game because as far as I can tell, our stuff should be working, at least according to the wiki, and yet it isn't, or at least it doesn't look like it is. And that is that our ammunition transports are not seemingly, doing the thing they're supposed to do, the whole loading ammo into the box launchers thing. The wiki says that in C Sharp, you can reload box launchers at hangars or ordnance transfer points. It then, in parentheses, specifies an ordnance transfer point as an ordnance transfer station or an ordnance transfer hub. Okay, well, hub is definitely a module. There's not a ship designation or, a design designation of ordnance transfer station, so I'm pretty sure what it means by ordnance transfer station, it means ordnance transfer system. Which, guess what we have on our ammunition transports? An ordnance transfer station, or system. Or again, as the wiki seems to potentially refer to it, ordnance transfer station. I don't know why it's refers to it that way, but I guess it does. It does then proceed to note that these take 10 times, or these are 10 times slower at reloading if you're doing it at an ordnance transfer point instead of in a hangar. Okay, that's fine. I can live with that. Let's see, how long does it take for us to, rearm one of these things? Let's see. Oh, okay, 8,490 seconds. Okay. And how long is it supposed to take? Oh, okay. At a maintenance facility, the reload would be 23.6 hours, and a hangar would be 141.5 minutes. So, 2 hours, and we'll just say 2.5 hours for the sake of simplicity. Okay, I can live with that. And again, it claims that an ordnance transfer point is 10 times slower. Okay, than a hangar. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Would be great if you would show that. It would be absolutely wonderful if you would show that the system is working. Update these times. Have these times display the 10 times slower speed. These times should probably, display the actual reload speed, not whatever reload speed is showing now. I think that might be the hangar reload time, but don't quote me on that. I didn't do the math to see if 8,490 seconds comes out to 141.5 minutes, but probably does, or at least close enough. I'm 99% certain it doesn't come out anywhere close to the number of seconds in 23.6 hours. So, okay. Yeah. In theory, we should be doing this. We should be doing this. But we're not. Yeah. Do I need an ordnance transfer system on both ships? Maybe. The wiki didn't note that, but that's a possibility. Maybe you need an ordnance transfer system on both ends. That's a possibility. But if it is, that should probably be denoted somewhere. And you know what? That's something we can try. That's something we can try real quick and just, see if things work out differently. But again, if that is the case, you should probably note it somewhere. It should probably be noted somewhere. So, okay, do a 1 day increment. Theoretically, that should load 1 box launcher. And, what's that? Ammo is still 0% for both of these guys, huh? And these guys have 100 tubes. So if that was the case, we would theoretically should be seeing some sort of change. But we're not. Pretty sure it's not working. Despite the claims to the contrary. Pretty sure you gotta still do it in a hangar, which I'm not gonna be building a fucking ship that actually has a hangar bay large enough to be able to do that. It's just not happening. Just not happening. So, as a result of that decision, of this stuff clearly not working as intended, we are just gonna use the old-fashioned space master the shit into position. And we will blame it on the game not working like it's supposed to. Because that's my best theory. Is that it's not working like it's supposed to. Now their planet is moving away from us. Timer started. Forgot to do that with my ranting about the game. I think we're gonna actually have to move to waypoint 2 if I want to be able to engage. Okay. Let's try this again. We're gonna fire both at that. You guys are gonna go for 2. Oh yes, that doesn't automatically reload them, I forgot. Yep, I forgot, that doesn't actually reload them, which is admittedly kind of silly, because it really seems like it probably should. If we're being realistic here. Like, if your stuff has the tubes for it, you would think Space Master Filling Class would just, literally put it in as loading in fresh tubes that are already set up and ready to go. But evidently that is not the case. Because, yeah, they're not actually loaded. God. I do generally enjoy this game, but I have problems with it. I have some problems with it. And it's largely just because some of the ways it's designed are just jank as fuck. we can fire that at our max range. Assign to fleet. Move to location, 49 billion. We'll do 46. I'm not going to turn on the actives on our strike fighters because they don't technically need to be turned on. That'll make it to where the enemy is less likely to be capable of engaging them. Oh, whoops, I forgot to actually set you guys to fire. That's my bad. Open fire fleet. And yep, the issue is that that's not enough to overwhelm the systems, or their point defense. And this is, this system clearly not quite working as intended is one of the reasons why I am considering going to reloadable launchers. Theoretically, we'd probably be having less issues if I was using reloadable launchers. Because, we'd probably be capable of actually reloading our stuff if that were the case. But it really is looking like it's not going to be the case. Because I literally will have to fly back to Seoul just to fucking actually finish the reloads. And I'm considering saying, fuck it. We are going to potentially go and just do those swaps. Of course, that does mean I need to make some changes because why the fuck are you so damn heavy? I think it's because of the magazine. You need a smaller magazine. One you have right now is a 4,000 ton magazine, which is making you way too large to be able to do a refit. Probably do like 1,000, maybe 2. So I think 1,000's probably okay. Well, that's not true because you're firing size 8 missiles, and size 8 missiles take up 8 in a. Theoretically, you only really need them to be enough to hold. Or still technically 48 missiles. You just need enough to be able to hold while the reload, or while the ammo transports reload you. In theory. Yep. No, we're gonna do it. Fuck it. We're gonna bring everybody home. Second campaign is we'll say about as successful as the enemies, or as the first one was. These should be relatively cheap refits because it's largely just swapping out the weapon systems. The rest of the ship is the exact same, basically. With the exception of better armor. Generally speaking, they're like exactly the same, so they should be generally. I feel like that might actually be still a little too big for allowing the refit to take place. 500? It's 192. Four missiles. Part of the issue is also that we're firing fairly small salvos if we make this switch. And the enemy has a lot of point defense, and I just don't know if we can basically reload and whatnot fast enough to offset. Yeah, that's part of the problem. Is I just don't know if we can reload fast enough to offset. I mean, we might be able to. Make these lighter and have a longer reload. That allow me to still be able to have sizable volleys. In theory, this would be 50 per. For the cruisers. And then with a lengthy reload. Probably would be okay. All things considered, that would probably be okay. Now you guys fire 52. 55, so about half the load. 50. Then small magazine. The magazine. Did I accidentally autocomplete? No, that can't be right. Did I not design it? Oh, I probably didn't design it. Thought I did though. No, I did. There it is. I don't know why the hell I was having such a hard time finding it. That's probably still pushing it, honestly. Do I give you the lasers? Or do I take them off? I think I'm going to take them off, honestly. You don't need the power plant anymore then, either. That allows me to slap a couple of extra missile launchers on here. Theoretically, I could probably go with the larger of the two magazines. You are at 23,046. Takes you a little over. Gets you pretty close. That one makes you a bit smaller. Another engineering space to get the IFR down to under 3. Yep. Okay. Well, we're bringing the fleet home. And yeah, we're gonna do these refits. We've been sitting on these refits because there hadn't really been a rush to need to do them, but that's no longer true. There is now a legitimate reason for doing them. Also means CG Albany, retool you. Well, first I actually need to obviously research the prototyped stuff. Research that magazine. Rename the, well, I need to get a name. Go to missile launchers, company name. Be sure Advanced Defense Systems, or how the hell you pronounce that name, sure. It's a good way to try to integrate the 30% or 30% reduction. Uh, VLSR 8 30. I think is the best way to do that. Notes that it is a reloadable missile launcher and that it is a 30% reduction. You need a name for your magazine because I forgot to actually get one for this one. ZAM Ordnance, sure. Get those researched once we have I was going to say once we actually have a free space, but you know, realistically, it doesn't take that long to just do them. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get those refits done. Like I said, they shouldn't take very long, all things considered. And hopefully we'll have less issues when it comes to reloading them. But I guess we'll see. The hope is that everything will go better. I think I forgot to actually update how much ordnance you carry as well. Yep, okay. Again, I'm going to blame this partly on either an outdated wiki or some of the game systems just not quite working like they're supposed to, or at least not seemingly working like they're supposed to. So we need to go to the CG Albany here, retool you. Well, again, I'm actually still waiting on that last bit of tech. Oh, that should be the last of it. Yep. Also, one other thing we need to do. Metal. Residence, bravery, metal. Go to the admin, the fleet commander, ship commander, executive officer, commander of the air group, chief engineer, tactical officer, and that's it. Yep. Or all those medals for the second to GL Virginia's campaign, because, you know, it totally went as expected. Okay, Albany. Retool, make sure this is also the Albany. Yes, it is. You're going to retool into the CG Admiral Graf B. Then we go down to the Abdil, which is going to retool to the DDG Chili Papa, or however the hell it's pronounced. I guarantee I butchered it. But there we go. I didn't actually pay attention to how long those are going to take. November of some point. I got no idea what November it is. Oh, whoops, inactive labs. Let's get that corrected. I forgot. What were you researching before? Reduce laser size. And I think that was the last of the Marines finally being finished. I should probably tell them to unload their ordnance. That way they don't potentially bug out. Unload ordnance on colony. Wonderful. Okay. So, okay, well the one for the Albany is still going, but the this one can begin. And it is duranium, neutronium, tritanium, and mercasium, which is all stuff we have tons of. And yes, feel free to use any components if there happens to be something available. Those are due to be done February. The reality is these refits should go relatively quickly. One thing I forgot to check with the Graf Spree. Okay, yes, you did have the new armor. Okay, good. Pause that because we're having issues with the gal site. Fit the Albanese. Yes, use any components that are available. These will be done in March. We're just going to assume that the current president will be staying in power for the full 8 terms, so we're not going to go and run an election at the end of this year. Or would it be this year? No. I think, no, it'd be next year, rather. Pardon me. They came in 2158. So the election will be in 2162, so never mind. Oh, I guess I should probably check to see if the Marines thing will work. Now that I, established a higher level to put all of the other ones under. In theory, that should allow me to be able to just sort of tell the shuttles to pick it up and any subunits, and it'll load them up in whatever way it wants. Let's go ahead and check on that. Of course, I don't think I can shift click, which is annoying. Really wish you could shift click. This is going to be a lot of dragging. Because, it's like 40 some odd units. And also, hopefully my math was right on the size of this, because I did it a while back, but I frankly don't recall if I took into account the fact that there's going to be slightly more Marines than there were previously. I think I did. I just don't know for certain. Let's see if this works. Detach Earth, load ground units, load all subunits. That. Didn't actually mean for you to do 5-second increments. And it didn't do it. It didn't do it. Okay. Why didn't you do it? Pretty sure I had load subunits selected, so why didn't you do it? There should have been plenty of space. And you should have been smart enough to say, okay, I'm going to put them each under one thing. Because that's the way it should work. Is that you load them up. That should have worked. Unless my math is way off on the size. Which it shouldn't be. Yeah, no, that should have worked. That should have worked. Because the way it's supposed to function is that the game should, in theory, load up each one individually onto a separate shuttle by basically grabbing the top unit, loading it, seeing, can I fit anything else here? Yes or no? If no, okay, do I have any other transports that I can load the units up to? Oh, yes, I have the second one here. Okay, well, can it fit any of these units? Oh, yes, it can fit the second unit in the list. Okay, go ahead and load that up. Can I fit anything else on this transport? No? Okay. Do I have any other transports? Oh, I have a third transport. Wonderful. And rinse and repeat going down the list until everybody's loaded up. It didn't do that for some reason. It, for some reason, didn't do that. Despite that obviously being the way the system should work. Unable to load First Marine Company. Are you sure about that? Because they are the right size. Unless I accidentally gave like one extra Marine, which I suppose is a possibility, that there could be one extra Marine, although, you know, one extra Marine platoon, but I can correct that. And I'm thinking that might be the case because I'm not seeing anybody free. So, okay, yes, thank you, game. Thank you. That seems to be the issue, is that I accidentally built one more Marine than I needed to. So... 82nd. You're not coming. Load ground unit, load all subunits, load him. Wonderful, there we go. Now if I go to transported item, everybody should have somebody. And that is in fact correct, wonderful. Now I can tell you to land on assigned mothership. Now we just wait for the refits to finish. And then we can go for the third campaign, which will hopefully be, you know, actually, legitimately more successful than the first and second. Hopefully. Let's see, what do I want? Let's get better particle beams for if I do actually design a new STO that uses particle beams instead of railguns. I would like to have some very long range. Would make it significantly easier to engage. Now, I could have also actually technically upgraded our lasers as part of this refit. Because one of the things we did research between the end of the last recording session and this recording session was actual X-ray lasers instead of the soft X-ray that we currently have. Whoops. Stop game. Q. That is the destroyers finished. Okay. Theoretically, these guys should be capable of, actually doing their jobs. Are you guys actually loaded correctly? So you guys, for some reason, didn't have the loadout correctly designed. What the hell? Oh, you guys... This is probably it. Maybe. Don't know for certain. It's just a guess. Because you're claiming you're carrying more. Oh, I probably didn't update your template when you guys refitted. And annoyingly, you guys automatically grabbed what you needed, but the template wasn't updated automatically upon completion of the refit. This next major tick should be the last one. Or not. I thought it was the 16th of March that the cruisers were supposed to finish. Apparently I was incorrect on that. Oh, I forgot to remove one of your ECMs. You guys actually have one more. That's my bad. I'm just gonna space master that correction. Because, yeah, that shouldn't be that way. Also, that means, can I add another missile launcher? Add a couple more. We'll do the 2 more. Because if I had actually remembered to remove the thing, you guys would have been getting those 2 more. Okay, assign to fleet. Wonderful. Now to, actually make sure you guys are fully loaded. Load ordnance from colony, everybody. Am I actually missing? No, I'm not. You guys just, again, didn't, actually do what you were supposed to. Kinda left a couple. Don't know why. Oh, I need to. I know why. I know why. Template. Copy from class. Copy to fleet. There we go. Now I can do it. Okay, really? Do we run out now? No, we still have enough. Why the hell you... God damn it, Kim, I swear. More civilian shipping being attacked. Gotta wait for the loading to finish, but, you know, the civilian shipping and new reticuli being destroyed kind of slows that down. There we go. There we go. In theory, now we're actually good to go. Hopefully this time we're more successful at, you know, the whole loading or, you know, resupplying the missiles. Steady, go to the waypoint because we don't know if the enemy's waiting at the other side of the jump point again or not. They might not be, but they could also be. So we need to check on that first. As far as we know, they didn't come after us. So they might not be. But again, it's just a case of I don't really know that for certain. Oh, okay. Hello there. I guess we can get some target practice in real quick on a Tekka. Move to 300,000. Let the heavy cruisers get some target practice in. This was a bad plan on your part, Tekka. You're in the wrong neighborhood. Wrong neighborhood and no friends. Though even if you had friends, they wouldn't be all that much help. So this will allow the Agordot and the Albacore da Barbiano to get a little bit more target practice in, which can certainly be good. And this thing will melt. The Tekkas don't seem to really have any armor. So they kind of melt. Even to the lasers, even at long range. Again, lasers have damage drop-off. And in our case, that damage drop-off is dependent upon, well, I say in our case, that damage drop-off is entirely dependent upon your range modifier. In our case, it is 60,000 kilometers, if I recall correctly. Yes. After 60,000 kilometers, they start dropping off. So, at this range, we're literally doing 1 damage. But a bit more target practice is always nice. Especially for our, point defense ships. Might help them actually decide to lock on to shit. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. So detach you. You're gonna fly out to here. Fly out to 3. Again, the game always defaults geological surveys, even when you're not capable of doing them. I don't know why. I think that's silly personally, and it looks like they might be waiting on the other side of the jump point for us this time. And that is, in fact, yes. That is an affirmative. They are waiting on the other side of the jump point for us. So they did follow us, apparently at some point. Just a little shocking, to be honest. Now, here's the thing. Again, we can jump through and sort of force our way in and knock out like half their fleet. Again, we would take fairly heavy losses, all things considered, for that. But the reality is we'd probably be able to win it in the end. That's just the problem, is I don't know if it's really worth it to try to force our way through. So I'm not sure how heavy of losses we would actually take. See, we have railguns, which are devastating, relatively speaking. They're 15-centimeter railguns. So they do 3x4 damage in this case. And they would be doing the full 3 damage, and because the enemy's basically right on top of us, we'd be doing our max damage as well. Another thing I was researching between recording sessions was shields. I didn't design any because I wasn't actually necessarily planning on implementing them anytime soon, but if we did go back and do a minor refit and gave ourselves some shields, our current shield tech I think is Theta, isn't it? Yes, Theta shields for a shield strength of 40. As far as I know, you need to punch through the shields before you can do any damage to the armor. And I don't think anything ignores shields, so that's like a free extra 40 hit points-ish of armor, effectively. Now, they're slow because I haven't really spent too much into the shield regen rate, which is only a 3, so they recharge rate of 30 because it seems it's a multiple of the size. Is that correct? Yes, it is a multiple of the size. And they only use Corbomite, which I don't think we've really used Corbomite for like anything for the most part. So it's not like it's a hard resource to get. If it used Gallicite or something, we'd probably be less inclined to do it, but it uses a fairly readily available resource in our case. So we could do it. It's just a question of what size. And am I researching anything on those right now? No. Of course, one other thing is that if I do this, I do need to, of course, add power plants to all of our stuff. Oh no, we are actually researching the next level, but that's not going to be out till June 6, 2163 right now. Shield generation rate 4 would not be too hard to get our hands on. Takes us to a recharge time of 300 as opposed to 400, and I don't know if this is seconds. I assume it's seconds. I just don't know for certain on that. That would make the most sense for this to be seconds, because that's usually how things are noted if they don't say like minutes or hours after. So that shaves 100 hours off. Or excuse me, 100 seconds off. And of course, larger shields or better shields that add more shield strength, of course, increase your recharge time anyway. So, yeah. I'd probably just do a size 10 generator. Doesn't add too much weight. Yeah. I'll have to consider this potentially. We might need some more refits in the near future to add some shields for a future campaign. It's unfortunate that our observation craft did not survive getting through. If it had managed to like make it through somehow, which realistically wasn't ever going to be the case, it just wasn't. But if by some miracle it managed to get far enough out that it survived, it could have been helpful because it could have allowed us to know when these guys leave. Unfortunately, I have no way of knowing when they will leave. They'll probably stay here for upwards of a year. 6 months to a year before they head back. I do wish it was possible to send missiles to a stabilized jump point. But I could see how that could be a very annoying thing. But it is something I wish I could do. Because I would do it. I would absolutely do it if I could. But yeah, that ain't happening today. Well, I guess we're not beginning the third campaign yet. It's not much reason to sit around out here, I guess. We're going to be waiting for, again, probably 6 months to a year before we can actually go back through the jump point without having them be waiting for us. Theoretically, if I was crazy enough, I could. I wouldn't, because I'm not crazy enough to do it. But in theory, it would be possible for me to send through Marines to capture one of their ships. And maybe if it works out, be capable of using it to engage more of them, or at least potentially keep them distracted. I don't know how smart the AI is at, target prioritization. Like, if it's actually smart enough to prioritize a target that is an active potential threat, compared to something that's just kind of sitting there effectively dead in the water. Because if it will allow me to, if I could do that, get through, grab like one of the larger ships, something that can sit there and take a beating for a bit, and then send the fleet through. And in theory, if the enemy is distracted, we could do it. But I don't know if we'd actually be capable of doing it. That's the thing. Is I don't know if the AI would actually be dumb enough to continue shooting at a ship that is one of theirs that I've captured. And I think those are their only actual ships. I think the other stuff that's orbiting, or that, is in orbit of the planet, I think those are all stations. Which is interesting that the AI decided to build a bunch of stations. I say that, but that's not too surprising. I've seen the AI do it numerous times. But nonetheless, it is interesting that they did do it, it seems like. But yeah, so that's something we're going to have to consider. Is potentially what do we have here? Nope, you're the best option for that. But we may have to consider adding shields to our ships so that we have that extra bit of oomph to be able to try to push through a jump point that is contested. My timer hasn't actually gone off yet, but we are technically over an hour, so we're going to go and end this part here. And next time we shall see what our options are for punching through there and seeing how that goes. Well, more accurately, next part we will be figuring out what our options are. In between parts, I'll run a test. In fact, I'll probably do it like immediately after ending this part. But yeah, so we're going to see how that goes. I fully expect to take very heavy losses and potentially actually lose the fleet, which is the thing I don't want to have happen. The armored cruisers should be capable of dishing out significant amounts of damage. Because, as a reminder, the heavy cruisers have 18 twin turret, 18 twin laser turrets for a total of 36 per. We have 2 heavy cruisers in the fleet. So, that's a nice, easy 72 total lasers being fired. And the distances of we jumped through a jump point that the enemy is just kind of sitting on, our light cruisers would be capable of engaging the enemies as well. And that is 60 dual Gauss cannons. So, 120 per ship. We have 2 of them, I believe it was. Right? Just the 2? Yeah, just the 2. For a total of 240. Now, of course, it should be noted, Gauss cannons do nothing. Is like the best way to describe it in terms of damage. They don't do a whole lot, but they have a very high rate of fire. at a rate of fire of 5 for these. So, and 240 of them just firing blindly into the enemy fleet. While they are unlikely to do any real damage, they might knock out weapon systems that don't have good armor on them in the case of turrets, or, just little things that can help. But yeah, they're not the greatest. They're really not. And, you don't use them for damage dealing because they don't have the damage output. At the range that we're engaging, we're going to be relying largely on the lasers of the heavy cruisers and the railguns. Do we still have railguns? I actually don't know because I don't have them on the cruisers, and these destroyers don't. I think the only things with railguns are the Abercrombies. Those have 9 of them. I think it's just 2 of these in the fleet, isn't it? Yeah, just 2 of those in the fleet. We really don't have much in the way of firepower because we rely on the missiles for the most part. Yeah. Let's see. Destroyer escort. Well, that's a destroyer escort, excuse me. The escort frigate doesn't have anything beyond the missiles. Although I could just, toss out a whole bunch of missiles at the enemies. Bunch of size 1 missiles at point blank range at just anything and everything. Might do some damage. I mean, theoretically, they do have a warhead on them. I wasn't trying to modify the thing game. Now they got a size 1 warhead. I can fire 25 each. They reload practically instantly with a rate of fire of 5. Firing an enemy that's right on top of us. God damn, these are gonna hurt. We can do damage, but it's not gonna be an enjoyable experience. I can tell you that right now. But like I said, I'll test it just to see. Because hey, if it comes out that we actually take practically no damage, okay. I guess we'll probably be doing that next part. But I'll see you all next time. Until then, reminder, if you want to stay up to date with the channel updates, I highly recommend you join the Discord server. There's a link to it down below in the description. That's my go-to place for posting channel updates. If you want to support the channel financially, you can do so via Patreon or Streamlabs. Patreon is best if you want to support the channel on a monthly basis, and Streamlabs is best if you want to just support the channel periodically with like one-off donations and the like. But I will see you all next time. Glory to the Republic.